Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Motherwood here, and welcome to the tutorial on how to build my mob spawner slash XP farm called the Sector. It's you can see it's doing quite well there, but this is a perfect world environment for it. The world is half slabs and lit up everywhere it can, so those are probably very big numbers compared to how you would build it in your world. But if you've come from my Let's Build video of this thing, you can see how to get these results. So if you've come from there, thank you very much for clicking on the tutorial. If you haven't, go have a look at it because I think it turned out quite well. It's a little bit long, but it is from the extreme start to the extreme end. Alright, I'll just have a quick tour of this thing before we jump into the tutorial. As you can see, I've just done the water ladder and they fall to their deaths, but you can kill these guys however you want or collect them. On the inside, let's knock a few holes out here. You can see the mobs in there about spawning on the platforms, getting washed off by the water, and the ones up and the platforms up there, they get washed down the side. Seal that back up. On the back, there's a not so elegant redstone torch tower feeding the dispensers with a signal, and that signal that turns the water on and off comes from the hopper timer. Okay, that's a little brief overview and you can see it working there. So let's go on ahead, let's go build this thing. Okay everyone, the first thing you want to do is obviously find a place to build said spawner. I'm just in a half slab world for the purpose of this tutorial, so find your place and wherever you feel like standing, place your block. This area right here will be where we're going to take some measurements from, and also hopefully where you might put your collection point. Next, you'll want to measure 23 away from this block. – 22, 23. Once you've got the 23, mark that block as well. That will be where you will build your arc to build your platforms off. To build the arc, I use a program called Plots. So what you want to do is just head over to your browser, go to plots.co.uk, click on Sphere. Down here, in the where it says size, you want to make that 46. Slap it into 2D mode. Bring this down to 22, I think. There we go. 23, sorry. So what you've got there is now an arc. So I think my mouse will show up. You'll be standing on that block there. From here to here should be 23. Let's quickly count. Yes, indeed, it is 23. So this is the arc you're going to build. So what you want to do is take a screenshot of that or save it as a picture. So you've got it as reference and you can use that to start building. With your structure arc in place, you should have something that looks kind of like this. What you want to do next is build the platforms on the back. You can build them out of whatever you like. I have just used cobble in the past, but Koala's design, which I got inspiration from this, used ice. But I will just use, this is very small, I'll just use cobble for the sake of this. So what we're going to do now is make a pyramid pattern for the dispensers to flow out across. I usually start on this brick here. The first one you do will be 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all you want to do now is finish off that pattern, just coming in one block each time. And there you have it. So you've made yourself a nice pattern that the dispensers will dispense their water across. From there it is just repeating. So you want a 2 high area for the mobs to spawn in. So measure 2 up, start again. 1, come out 8, and I've gone too far, and just keep repeating that pattern. And just to mark out what else, so we'll come up another 2, 1, 2, and that's where the next one starts. Okay, I have completed the platforms on the back. As you can see, I changed them to iron blocks just so they look nicer for the tutorial. You get to a point on this, don't go too high. Remember that you're going to have to come up 2 blocks for this last one, and then there'll be your roof. So that's of your arc, that might be as high as you want to go. Once you start going out further, you'll be just stretched out too far, and you'll kind of be going over your middle point. So on this arc we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 platforms, which I know will be plenty enough for the normal Minecraft user. Now would be a good time to do your dispensers and red torch tower. For the first one, the dispensers are going to go in the middle row here. So you just need to come out 1 block, put your dispenser on there, and start your torch tower. We'll do that there, another block there, redstone torch there. Next you just keep going up, alternating torches on each side. Oops. Now I'll get there, sorry. Go up here. As you're going up, place a block to feed in your dispenser. Go on there. So the first couple of dispensers won't have repeaters, but when you start, as the arc starts moving away, you'll start to have big, long repeating patterns. So there's one with 2 blocks. Dispenser there on the edge of that block, and this one usually needs, then this is where we start needing repeaters. So I usually stick a repeater there. Sorry, just on 1 tick, that's fine. So continue that pattern up, and I'll be right back. The finished redstone structure should look a little bit like this. If there's a better way to do it, feel free to improve on the design. This is just a bit more direct. I don't really know how to make the redstone go up over these areas, so it looks a little bit ugly, but you could dress it up with some better blocks and maybe a few leaves and vines. But as you can see, I've just, to make sure the signal gets there in a timely fashion, I've got a repeater on the long ones for him, and for the rest it's just redstone dust coming straight from the redstone torch and into the repeaters. So every time we build the hopper clock, which we'll build next, it'll turn that on and off and dispense the water as well. Okay, now it's time to build the hopper clock. First of all, we're going to start off by placing a few blocks and repeaters. So you want to place a block one down from the hopper there, stick a repeater into that, come out, up two, and we'll continue out here, down one from that, and down again. You want to come out from there about 7 blocks, and fill that area in as well. When you get to here, is that right? Yes, when you get to here, you want to slap a sticky piston with some sand on top. And finish it off with a repeater running in there. We'll place one more block there and a repeater here. While we're here, we'll set this guy to 4 ticks, and then we run a repeater line along here. So 4 repeaters, yes. Back down 4, and all of those should be set to 4 ticks. Grab some redstone dust. Head up here. And that is the basic circuit. Now we will build the hopper clock itself. Alright, hopper clock time. First of all, I'm going to stick a sticky piston there into a redstone block. Turn around 1 block away, have another sticky piston facing that way. Redstone dust on either side of the sticky pistons, and they will go into a block as well. Then we add 2 comparators facing into that block and into that block, and we'll chuck down some hoppers. First one just in, shift click into there, break that one. So now they, by shift clicking there, you can see that they're facing into each other. Now to start the timer, I usually stick about 22 items in. It can be anything, ladders, dirt, whatever you feel like. I have 22 stone slabs here, so I'll chuck those in. So you can see that activates the redstone, pushes it across. So those will come back. The delay goes around and activates the tower and dispenses the water. A little word of advice: when you go to add your water buckets into the dispensers, which you can do after you finish that clock, just kill that repeater coming out of the hopper timer, because then you won't have, when you fill up your dispensers, you will not have dispensers that are off timed. So dispensers that are on, it should be off, and vice versa. So killing that repeater stops the signal, and you can fill up your dispensers freely. Come back down here and hopefully we should see it destroy my redstone. So anyway, it looks like it's working. So yes, just remember to kill that repeater and hopefully wall your pads in before you turn it on. Deary me. Alrighty, just to prove this works, that was a bit of a nasty incident last time. Well, I filled it up with water and blocked it off so it won't fall off. So when that redstone block comes back, there goes the timer. We have water. Doesn't that look pretty? Alright, prove that it works, and just check your work as well. Now's a good time to make sure all of the dispensers are working properly. I did actually have to add a repeater here for this one to work. It just wasn't updating, so just make sure that all of them are going on and off at the same time, and you might need to stick a repeater into some of the dispensers to get them to update. Now's a good time to test to see if it's working if you want to, because once you start blocking it in, you're not going to be able to see in there easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop a night vision potion on me, set it to night, and set it to normal, and we'll see what we get. So hopefully, if everything's working correctly, there we go. We just get some spawns happening in there. You can see them all the way up there on each platform. And here comes the water. And out they all pop, working perfectly. Once you know it's working, you can start filling in the back and then the front. Filling in the back's quite easy. All you need to remember is to keep this too high a gap all the way through. So just filling in these areas here if the bats get out of the way, and then bringing it all the way down here. So you'll end up with a stepping pattern. Get up there. Now you can leave it like that, that's fine. You still got the too high gap, so you can save a few blocks that way, and also maybe make it look a little bit nicer. And the end result should look like this. I feel you might be able to make it look prettier, but it does the job. Okay, one thing I just forgot to do, and I also did this when I was building in my survival world, was don't just build out to the edge of the platform. You want to make another 2 blocks out to give mobs room to fall down into the water below. So once you've done that, that's the finished product without a roof. What I usually do is you'll with the 23 block arc there, you'll have usually two that are level. I take the next one, which is going out one block, and start from there. You want to make sure the wall you build is 2 blocks out. So we'll go 1, 2, and that will be the start of your first wall. So what that wall does is that'll be your falling wall. So the mobs will fall from the wood will come down here, and they will fall from there. You can bring this down like this arc was as well. This is just something I like to do. I've just got night vision on just because it was a bit dark under here with the shadow, so bear with me with the particles flowing in front. Alright, I'll come back after I built this wall. With your first wall built, it should look something like this. Now that's a big gap between those, but it's a 2 gap wall, 2 gap space between there. Once you reach that point, all you really have to do is make sure that at the end of one of these you have a 2 wide gap, and that is your next destination for your wall. So it may be coming down here. Oh, sorry. Okay, I got it. Don't worry about me. Sorry. It may be coming down here, doing something like that. Or you could do that. So all you need to do is work your way up, making sure to leave a 2 wide gap between all your platforms. Your finished under part should look a little bit like this, always keeping a 2 wide gap. And here's an example of how the water will be flowing. So the mobs have got room to fall down, and then they've also got room to go underneath the blocks. Before you fill in the sides and the roof, I recommend you figure out how you're going to kill these guys. If you've built it in the air, you'll be dropping them obviously, but if you built it on the ground, you might want to think about using what I did in my build, which was just a water stream. The mobs fall down, get washed all the way through here. Spiders go through that gap to wherever you want to kill them, and the other mobs go up water ladder. If you're using the water ladder technique, I recommend at least putting your mobs 22 blocks high. So what I usually do is this is our center starting block, and say you want your collection point to be right here, so you're just gonna punch. So just mark that out a little bit more. I'll just do this, sorry about that, just make that our collection point. And all I do from here is come up 22 blocks. So the last block you put will be their full block height. .22. So that will be the height of our elevator, going up there, across and down. Now I'll quickly just show you how to make a water ladder if you don't know already. Basically I usually enclose them in glass, but they can be whatever you like. So you can see down there I've got signs running through, and they hold up the water. So if I put water in there now on each side, we're good to go. So what we have to do is continue building this pattern. Slap some signs on top of the water. Water on top of the signs. And you continue that all the way up. So the mobs, just because they jump when they get into water, they will continue going up the ladder. Okay, we're almost ready to put the water down on the outside of this, on the inside of this thing. First we just need to block up the edges so the water doesn't come off like what happened last time. I like to do it this way, but you can use any block you like. You'll be able to seal up the sides. So I'll just seal up this edge, which is taking me way too long, and I will see you when it's time to put the water down. With both edges sealed up, I forgot there was one last thing that needs to be done. You just need to pick a spot where you want your water to stop. I like to stop it just as it comes over the one ridge. So we will do that by putting a sign there, so one block down, and just placing a maybe temporary block there. And what you need to do now is place a whole heap of signs across here until you reach the other side. That's all the signs in place. Now you can put the water in. And if I've done everything correctly, water should be flowing down and stopping there. Fantastic. Alright, now it's time to seal up the sides. Just take one last look around, because once you do this you're really not going to be able to get back inside. So make sure all your dispensers are still working as they should. I just did have to fix one then. It must have something to do with the updating of the redstone, missing a tick every now and then. But all in all, I'm going to seal up these walls now, and I'll see you when you do that. Okie dokie. Once you've sealed up the sides, you might have something that looks like this. And that is pretty much it. All the theories there. We've got the contraption to kill the mobs, the area to spawn the mobs in, and for this one we're flushing the mobs off every 20 seconds or so, and by standing on this said green block, or your center block, you should be in the perfect distance away from those spawning pads in the middle to get the optimum amount of spawns, because those spawning pads start at 24, and 24 blocks away is when a mob starts to spawn and is the most active. A few things you can do to your mob spawn area. Like I said, they fall from 22 high and die when they hit those hoppers there. What I like to do is just have a set of blocks at the back attached to some pistons. So once those are out, now this becomes an XP farm, and when they're in, it's just a item collection area. Alright guys, that's the end of the tutorial. Hopefully it was easy to follow. I think we're at about 30 minutes for this, so if it wasn't easy to follow, I have done something very wrong. Sorry if it was a bit long and boring. I haven't done many actual tutorial videos, so I hope to improve on how I put these together in the future. If there's any comments you've got, please feel free to put them in the section below, because it's nice to know what I'm doing wrong or where I can improve. I did some maths on this thing, and the average drop I worked out by doing some 10-minute drop rates. I did 3 of those, worked out the average of those, and then times them by 6. So the average drop rate for this thing should be about 4,332 items per hour averaged out. So that's not bad, and also you can turn it into an XP farm and go enchant some of your items and armor. Thanks for hanging in there. If you came to this video without seeing my Let's Build of this, go check that out and have a look at how to get those kind of drop rates in your overworld, not a half slab world. And of course, if you like what you saw today, hit the like button. It's always good. And if you have a look around my channel and like my other videos, feel free to subscribe, because a bit of action on the channel always keeps me going, and I've got a few more videos like these planned for the future which I'd like to do. Once again, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!